You mentioned Broadway, and you should know better than anyone else. You grew up just south of here in a town
Langton.
called... And the first person I met today was an OPP officer who stopped the gold car and said, Mike Anscombe used to frequent this place, and it's amazing the information you can get out of an OPP officer with just a few global T-shirts.
I think the statute of limitations is now expired now, and so whatever warrant has ceased and desisted.
Yes, many fans here for you tonight, Michael.
Thank you, Susan.
It looks like the weekend, unfortunately, again, very unsettled. We're actually going to warm up, believe it or not, overnight, and fairly warm tomorrow, in the 20s in most areas. Very little sunshine, but cooling off considerably on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday before that ridge of high moves in. So let's get started with the weekend forecast, and we'll head up north where they had some snow today. And as I mentioned, the weekend looks unsettled with a few sunny breaks, and temperatures will be dropping off again on Sunday. Now, earlier today in Tillsonburg, we were also here with the Global McDonald Lightship. We had the chance to go up in that wonderful aircraft today. It was quite the experience, and throughout the next 5 to 6 weeks, the Lightship will be visiting your area. So let's take a look at a few locations here in Ontario. So, Bill, I can't believe I had to come all the way to Tillsonburg to finally see you again. How are you?
How are you? And it's been a couple of years since
your
we
75th birthday.
On my 75th
or was
birthday.
that your 29th birthday? Oh, whatever.
It was down at Global. Now I'm a couple of years older now.
That's right. And you were busy past couple of days here in Tillsonburg.
That's right. We've been in Tillsonburg, Jenny and myself, for 2 days. And we saw a magnificent collection of dolls here. And they're done by a woman called Gail Cassoni, who lives here. She's an artist, a trained artist who happened to go into doll making. And she makes what are called doll artist dolls, which are very unusual. She's the only one of the few in Canada that do it. And they're made of porcelain.
So we can take a look.
Yeah. And we'd like you to see these things. They're beautiful. So we'll let you see now Gail Cassoni and her fabulous original dolls. Tillsonburg is a busy town of 10,000 in the heart of southwestern Ontario tobacco country, an agricultural and manufacturing center. And this spacious dwelling isn't only the home of a family, it also houses hundreds of dolls, a magnificent collection, many of these resurrected from debris and restored. In another case, this vast assortment is made up entirely of reproductions from the 1800s to the 20s, as are the baby dolls in another showcase. All of these reproductions were made right here by Gail Cassoni, former high school art teacher, and one of the few people in Canada to turn out originals which she sculpts ahead and makes her own molds, known in the trade as doll artist dolls. This native couple, an original creation called Tired But Proud, were sculpted in clay first, then poured in porcelain. Another is Serena, the fairy godmother, the clothing and wings made from 100-year-old lace. Here's the artist's favorite, Mr. and Mrs. Alfred C. Buggs and their bulldog major, unbending, arrogant type, says Gail. Cassoni is also a painter. All of the paintings in the home are her own. She went into doll making about 10 years ago. Gail, you graduated from the Ontario College of Art and you thought you'd go into painting. How did you get sidetracked into making dolls?
Well, I started in commercial art as an artist, and then I proceeded to teach art at a high school level. And then when I was married, I was home with children, and I had a doll repaired, and I fell in love with the sculpture of the doll. So I proceeded to get more into creating my own dolls and also reproducing the antiques of yesterday.
Another ongoing project is a doll's house, which the artist made and is still furnishing.
Nice seeing you again, Bill, and have a great weekend.
I hope our paths cross soon again.
Me too. Mike, I'll see you in about 45 minutes.
Okay, thank you. A guy who's very familiar with Broadway. Main Street, that's the main street in Tillsonburg.
There's only one.
Well, there's actually the other one in, what's that other town? Oh, I guess it's New York. Anyway,
yes.
You're very familiar with Tillsonburg because, well, you used to work in Simcoe.
I started this illustrious career nearby in Simcoe.
In Simcoe.
Yeah, which is smaller than Tillsonburg.
No,
was the big time.
No. Simcoe is much larger than Tillsonburg.
Not when I started.
Well,
but after I left, yes, things
population explosion. All right, what's going on here in sports?
Thank you. Yep. World hockey this afternoon. Canada squeaked by Czechoslovakia.
I spent at the Strand Theater.
I was just going to say, Michael, there's a reason for doing this. We heard about your Friday and Saturday nights in the Strand Theater with all your girlfriends, you know, all 2 of them, and we actually met them here this afternoon. They send their regards.
Just their regards.
That's it.
What a relief. Anyway, Susan will be coming back from Tillsonburg in just a moment with the provincial weather forecast for the weekend for every region in the province, but especially for Tillsonburg and Langton. That's right after this.
Hello, this is Charles Adler. If you lost your job tomorrow, would you make the government responsible for your unemployment, your housing, your daycare, and your health care? These are the issues and concerns being talked about by this audience in Halifax. Watch Your Canada, Sunday at 6.
Once again, we rejoin Susan Hay, live and direct in Tillsonburg, southwestern Ontario. Susan?
Michael, some May 1st. I came to Tillsonburg today to see some sunshine, and they didn't have anything either. In fact, several centers further north throughout Kapuskasing, Timmins, Sudbury, North Bay, the Sioux, they all had snow today, just ahead of a warm front. Let's take a look at our first map this evening. That warm front that you can see here is got a lot of precip associated with it, and just ahead of it today, areas in the northern and central district much cooler, so the precipitation turned to snow, then to freezing rain. There was also some hail. All of that changed over to rain, so certainly the accumulation is not staying, and it looks like clearing is on the way. And the reason for it, that warm front is going to continue to move northeastward this evening. In fact, the southwest has already slipped into the warmer air, and the rest of the province will this evening. Now, a lot of sections were well below freezing. We do have a thunderstorm watch, not a warning, in effect for all of cottage country. There is the potential for severe thunder, damaging winds, large hail. In fact, the Sioux had some hail today as well. So in Tillsonburg, right now it's quite pleasant. The winds have died down somewhat. Some partial clearing moving in between the 2 systems, but a bit of a different story tomorrow. So as we go to our weekend map, we'll be into that very warm air for a brief period of time tomorrow. Temperatures 12 to 22 across the province. Then it looks like some scattered showers on the way just ahead of the cold front. Now the cold front passes through late in the day tomorrow. Temperatures will then start to drop off. And at that point, the winds are going to pick up northerly winds. It's going to be cool out there. It's going to be windy out there, and more scattered showers. If we're really lucky this weekend, we could see the few passing breaks, but not a lot of sunshine. It's going to extend into next week as well. So as we take a look at our temperatures currently, anywhere from a -1 to about 18 degrees, because Windsor is now in the warmer air. Overnight will rise between 3 and 16 degrees, and tomorrow's temperatures 7 to about 22 degrees, and then dropping off Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So not the best weekend in the forecast, and it's all due to the low heading off to the east around Quebec and then just remaining there, and a lot of systems rotating around it, not allowing the ridge of high to move in from the west. So we can't do much about that, but I'd like to tell you that earlier today we had a chance to go up into the light ship, which is illuminated. That's why we call it the light ship, and it was absolutely a great experience. That will be traveling to your area at some point over the next 5 or 6 weeks. So let's take a look and see just where it's headed. So brief scattered showers throughout the weekend. Again, if we're lucky, we could see some sunshine, but it is going to be windy, and it is going to be cooler starting late in the day tomorrow. And Michael, I'll see you back on the desk for the World Tonight.
Yeah, 2 things, Susan, before you leave Tillsonburg. Just south of where you're standing now, if we go back to the shot of to your right, if you go down the street, there is a Belgian bakery. Way down. You'll never be able to see it. Way down.
And what would you like from the bakery?
I would like just about everything in the bakery, if you could, because the guys here have never tasted desserts until they get them from this particular bakery. Would you do that?
And will you give me your credit card number?
No problem. The second
Right
thing,
now?
yeah. The second thing is, Anderson's Pool Room is also right next door. They'd love to see you there as well.
I'm sure they will. And they're all missing you. Of course, we have quite a few fans off to my right.
Okay. Listen, have a safe trip back. Say hello to everyone.
And we'll see you on the 11th. Okay.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye-bye.
Coming up, May Day celebrations.